Yo, what's going on, boys? How you doing? Peter, Ginger, Maka, CS, Carson, Vladdy, Yush, Phil, Gervais. So, if you guys have been in my stock life for a while, you guys know that we were telling you when the market goes up, we go up we stair step on the way up, but on the way down, we just take an elevator down. And there was no better example of that than this open this morning. We were down at one point just about 3% on SPY, which is a huge, huge down day on the indexes. We ripped at the end of the day there. I called it out. We had a support level drawn out at 4,319 to the 4,315-ish level. My line's a little off here. We did dump below, but at the end of the day, I told you there, I would think that we would close above the 4,319 support level. Fully posted the chart, everything. So if you're paying attention, congrats at the end of the day. A lot of people nailed the SPY calls. Congratulations. But other than that, it doesn't change much. Just because we bounced at the end of the day, we are still in a downtrend. 5-minute trend changes do not really matter if you know trading. We need an hourly trend change to get more confident in this. That's why I sold the Netflix. I will be going over Netflix in a bit here after this. I did jump in the 580 calls. And I sold them the same day just because of that exact statement I just made. Just because a 5-minute trend change happens, it doesn't mean anything. It just means there's an oversold bounce. We need the hourly trend change. So what we need to see here on SPY to prove that the bulls are stepping back in, we need to break above 4364 on ES and hold up there. And our next low that we put in needs to be higher than this low. This whole low has to hold to change the hourly trend change. After the hourly trend change happens, then you zoom out, look at the 4-hour trend. And then the numbers just keep getting higher and higher. So you have to keep setting higher highs and higher lows to change the trend back in the favor of the bulls. For right now, bears are fully in control of this market. There's no doubt in my mind, especially just looking at the charts. I know this is just a 5-minute chart, but this shows you the last 4 days. We opened, this day we closed, whatever. We opened, we closed lower, opened, closed lower, opened, closed lower. So right now, bears have full control. Bulls need to fight back. On the longer term time frame, the daily uptrend has been lost. To keep us in that daily uptrend, we needed to hold this higher low of 436.12. Today we closed at 434.10. So obviously we have a lower low now. So next time we go up, we most likely will not go up to all-time highs now this time. So what we have to do is we have to go up, set a higher daily low, and then change the trend back in the favor of the bulls. This is the daily time frame I'm talking about. Everything that I went over before was all smaller time frames. Weekly finally looks broken. We did hold the 21-day moving average is at 431.63, the 21-day on the weekly of SPY. We did close above that, so that's a little bit bullish. Let's see if we can hold the 21-day here. Last time we tested the 21-day moving average was back here in October. And the next week, we absolutely ripped 7% back up over the 8-day moving average. So if we get a similar move that we had last October, next week we should have a 7% up week. I'm not saying we will do that. I'm saying if we do the same thing that we did last October. Nothing is known for now. I'm still keeping my positions light. Keep a lot of cash in your accounts. We will have opportunities to buy when this is all over. But for right now, keep them light. We don't have any proof from the bulls. QQQ. Opened higher, closed lower, super weak, closed under the pre-market low, whereas SPY closed above the pre-market low, I believe. Yep, so SPY closed in the pre-market range, QQQ closed below it. So tech was the weakest today, and just by looking at these charts before I even open XLF, I can tell you financials were stronger than QQQ today. There you go. XLF actually closed above the pre-market high. So XLF was stronger than both SPY and QQQ. And that's the only reason SPY had any strength at the end of the day was because of financials. QQQ did not pull us up. QQQ laggard right here. Laggard bounce. XLF closed above pre-market highs. Still nothing on the longer term time frames that tells me to buy. When I say longer term time frames, I mean swing trades. I don't mean these scalps that I do. This is a scalper's market, especially with the volatility up so much. This is like a scalper's paradise. Right now on XLF, we have this huge range between 37.50 and 34.50, and that $3 range will likely take some time to break out. Unless the market runs back to all-time highs, then XLF will go. Other than that, we're just range bound. IWM was holding up the best this morning. At the end of the day, it was Same as SPY. It closed within our pre-market range. XLF is the strongest. Second strongest is IWM. Third strongest is SPY. Lastly is QQQ. As you guys seen, big tech was annihilated today. Bitcoin, big dump. We were down 10% at one point today. I'm not sure if there was news. I wasn't really paying attention. But we did bounce pretty nice off the lows. We got a 3% bounce. Let's see where we closed today. And the only thing keeping me in Bitcoin right now, even though it looks so bearish, is the weekly chart. So if you look at a weekly chart of Bitcoin, we bounced all the way from 29,278 all the way to 52,920. So that's a huge bounce, right? We bounced almost 22,000 points in Bitcoin straight in a line. So now we are down. Today's low is 42,250. Look what I always tell you guys, consolidation matters. Not all consolidation is the same. And what I'm saying to you here is from the beginning of the bounce to the high of the bounce, we had a 80% move. So on the weekly chart, we bounced 80% on Bitcoin. And right now we are only down 24%. So we want to hold. Remember, I told you healthy consolidation. We need anything less than about a 40 to 45% retracement is healthy consolidation, in my opinion. So as long as this one holds above about 40 to 45% during this consolidation, which would put us at about 40,000, that would be a healthy pullback for the weekly, which means we could still go higher. If we dump below that, then below 40,000, I'll probably cut everything in Bitcoin and just wait for a re-entry. But other than that, the weekly looks fine. The daily looks a little bit ugly, but let's see what happens. We need to wait it out. VIX. I've been showing you this chart over and over again for weeks now. What did I say needs to happen? We are in a daily downtrend for the VIX. I said we need to put in a higher low. That's right here, done. And we need to put in a higher high. So this time we failed it, but then we put in another higher low, showing that the buyers were stepping in before this low. And then VIX made a higher high today. So right now VIX is trying to change its daily trend. If we put in a low that's higher than this right here, what's a low here? 1568. So as long as we hold 1568 on this pullback on the VIX, it looks like it's trying to change the trend to higher highs and higher lows. So keep an eye on the volatility index here. What do we got here? We'll go into the individual names. I got a lot of charts to go over today, so this all depends on market. Remember that. It all depends on how strong or weak the market continues. Wednesday is Fed day. That's a huge day. Volatility might keep going until Wednesday just because people don't know what the Fed's going to say, right? And there's no Fed meeting in October at all, so everything depends on this one on Wednesday. Amazon, very weak today. One of the weakest stocks I've seen on my screen. End of day bounced, but we didn't even get over the pre-market lows as SPY did. Just like QQQ, we closed below it, but Amazon was extra weak today. It stood out to me as weak. The daily chart broken. Daily chart looks pretty broken here. We lost that gap up. We lost everything here. Let's see if we can move our way back towards 3,500. Other than that, in this range, Amazon, like Ricky said, is kind of just gambling. Over 3,500 would be bullish. Under 3,200 would be bearish. So nothing to say about Amazon here. It's going to be taken off the screen soon. But as you guys know, Amazon moves very fast. 100 points up, 100 points down like nothing. So that's why we like to keep it on our screens, just because it's volatile. And we can get some big scalps off it. Palantir super weak today as well. Gave back the breakout. Breakout was 2750. Went right back below it again. So we're still in this equilibrium, looks like. Unless Palantir closes above 2750, we're just going to bounce around this equilibrium. And we could come down and see 2115 again on Palantir. I'm not saying it will happen. I'm not saying it's probable, but it could happen. AMD, nice bounce at the end of the day. They're still weak. Semiconductor chips had a nice bounce. But we need to get over the pre-market high today, which is 102, and start making our way back to 105. If we don't do that soon, I will cut those calls. Most likely, we will not get a big payout on them, but I will call my sell here. We are under the 50-day for the first time on AMD since May. So the first time under the 50-day moving average on the daily for AMD since May. So that is bearish. Last time we crossed under the 50-day was back here in May, and we did not get back above it for 3 weeks. Okay? almost 4 weeks. Almost 4 weeks it took AMD to get back above 50-day. Let's see if it's different this time. If not, I will tell you how to manage accordingly. We need to get back up and to retest this resistance line here. Other than that, long-term AMD, obviously, I still think is a solid stock. Let's see. Jumia looks like trash right now. I'm still in those October 1st calls. Today, IWM did look strong at the morning. That's why I didn't cut these calls right in the morning. But other than that, Jumia did we hold it? 1 second. So it looks like we put in the low, and I thought this one was the low, 1850. I thought 1850 was a new daily higher low, but obviously we went lower than it today. We closed above the 1858 level. We closed above the 1850 level. We closed at 1858 today. So this is still possibly trying to trend change here. When the daily is uncertain, the weekly we look at, do we have a weekly low? Is this the new weekly low? So same thing, we put in the low. We put in a lower high. Now we're trying to put in a higher low. So if we put in a higher low, then we need to go up and break through 2215 to confirm a weekly trend change. Other than that, right now it's just chop. We must hold today's low of 18 and go above 2215 to change the weekly trend on Jumia. Other than that, it's just gambling right now. Baba, again, I've heard the lows are in for like probably 6 times in the last 3 months. Every time it's just not the low. So today we broke through that low as well. As usual, I'm not really bullish on Chinese stocks, only for scalps. Longer term plays, I don't like them at all. I am still in those 2023 leaps. They're down big time, but I have a lot of time on those. I do believe in Baba long term, but I will not enter any swing positions right now. 150, 149, as I said out in the group today, we haven't seen this price since 2019, and the company has grown since then. So there's something, just China, no one has confidence in investing in it right now. SE went down. I don't know if it retested. The offering low on SE was 315.53. So today, let's see if we go back down and retest that low of the offering at 315.53. Other than that, we did, looks like we closed green. I don't think we did. No, we didn't. TradingView lies to me all the time, guys. Other than that, we filled that whole gap. Like we were saying, I told you guys we would probably fill that gap on SE from the offering. We filled the whole gap, and then just market weakness today took us down. We closed today at 329.62. The 21-day is at 328.89. So we did close above the 21-day moving average on SE. Let's see if we can continue and get back to these highs right here of 347.44. 347.44 goes, and then we go all the way back up to all-time highs, which is at 360. Other than that, right now, a lot of charts are just chop. It's very gambling right now. AAL, I was just looking at it. I don't really care about it. Reopening stocks look strong today. A bunch of the airlines closed green today, which is very, very noticeable, especially on a market day like today. And AAL closed above all the moving averages today as well. So it closed at 2033. And the 200-day is actually at 2031. So we closed above the 200-day, closed above the 50-day, closed above the 21-day, and the 8-day. So that's that's very bullish action. Even though I'm not long on any airlines, they do look very, very bullish headed up into tomorrow. They look way stronger than tech and other stuff. So longs would be focused probably on the airline plays. Vaccines were strong in the morning. They closed pretty weak, but BNTX did hold its fib level of 336.51. Let's see if we can get a gap up tomorrow on this BNTX. Other than that, the next level up is 366 and then 400. 366 and then 400 on BNTX if we do move up. If we break the 336.50 level, the next level down is the 50-day moving average at 331. So 336 and 331 to the downside, 366 and 400 to the upside on BNTX. I am still in those calls. They're down pretty bad. But I covered it with a lot of other stuff. Netflix. I called out this. So this was one of my only plays today. I took Tesla put butterflies with Ricky, and I took this Netflix call that I sold at the close. Why did I take Netflix? It's not based on this 5-minute chart at all. What I based this play on was the weekly chart. So as I've been pointing out to you guys since last week, you guys got really bullish. A lot of members were like, oh, I want to go into Netflix calls, big major weekly breakout, whatever. This weekly range has been over a year long. It's been stuck between 568 and 466 for 1 year and 3 months. So 1 year and 6 months stuck in the same range. finally broke out on decent volume, but I said if Netflix comes back down and retests this 568, I would be interested in going long. And that's why I went long Netflix today, because we touched that level almost to a T. So the low today was 568.12. The breakout was at 568. So 12 cents lower, and we would have got a perfect retest and bounce. But it was good enough for me, so I jumped in the 580 calls at 525, sold them at 6 at close because I still don't trust the market. Like I told you, overnight swings are very, very risky in this market right now. But we got our pop, made our nice gains. That's about 15 to 20%. Remember, base hits in choppy markets are what keep you afloat. If you look for home runs in choppy markets, you're going to get crushed. Tesla, big down day. So I am in the put butterflies, and this little bounce at the end of the day is actually good for butterflies. If you guys know how to play butterflies, you want it to stay in a range. You don't want it to completely break down or gap up or go crazy up. So that little rip at the end of the day was positive for our butterflies. We should get $1.50 to $2 for these, which would be 50% or 100% if we stay in this today's range. If we stay below 730 and above 710, we should get a double on these easily by Wednesday, which is what I'm looking for. I might sell them for 50% tomorrow. Let's see what happens. I just want to see market action before I make my decision. Other than that, Tesla looks bearish. I've seen huge put flow coming in for 700s. I've seen people take 690s, 680s even. Someone took $100,000 worth of 450 puts for Tesla. I'm not saying we go that low, but we definitely shows weakness. A lot of people are weak. Other than that, let's see how the butterflies set up. Twilio, if the market continues weak, this is one of my favorite shorts setting up here. Why is it one of my favorite shorts? So on the daily here, we have a solid support around 331. 331, 330 level is a solid support. We also have that ascending wedge that I was drawing the other day. You could adjust these lines if you want, but this is just how I drew it. So we have one support and two supports. That's an inflection point. If Twilio holds this level of 330, it will probably rip back up to this resistance line here around 390. So that's a 60-point move we can catch. But if it breaks down, it should die all the way to 290. So that's what I'm watching on Twilio. It is one of my favorite shorts right now. If you go to the weekly, it should look even worse. Yeah, so weekly looks all right. I thought it would look like a head and shoulders, but let's check out the 4-hour. Don't want to see extended hours on here. So this is what I was seeing on the daily, kind of. We almost have a head and shoulders, kind of, sort of. I'm not really going to point it out, whatever. It's just a whatever setup. But like these two inflection points, whenever you have two supports or two resistances at the same point, say it's a moving average or two different horizontal and ascending supports or whatever, two different supports at the same spot is an inflection point. Usually if it takes out that support, there will be a flush, or if it holds that support, there will be a rip. So a lot of traders love these inflection points. They watch them. So just keep an eye on that Twilio 331, 330-ish range. If we break down from there, there should be a flush underneath. If we hold, we should rip up. Thank you guys for attending. I'll see you tomorrow. Let's see what the market wants to give us.